Drampa, one of the many weird and wacky Pokemon that we got to meet in Sun and Moon. Though over the years, it's kinda become less and less relevant, similar to other single-stage Pokemon from Generation 7. But yeah, I kinda had a moment where I remember that this thing existed, so let's chat about the dude for a little bit. It is funny that this Pokemon was off to an interesting start. In one of the most significant leaks of Generation 7, an entire trailer was posted online by an anonymous source a day before it was meant to be officially uploaded. With how strange a good amount of these Pokemon look, there was a lot of debate going on the entire night before the confirmation. Drampa in particular was subject to some of the most scrutiny. Being so unlike many other Pokemon, it was used as evidence of the leak being fake, mostly due to confirmation bias. Though as this Pokemon design was seen by more and more people, it was the perfect meme of a week, especially after it was confirmed as real along with the other Pokemon. And that is when the true copium began. The trailer revealed Drampa to be the first normal and dragon type, and because it was such a derpy looking Pokemon and had normal as the primary type, a good amount of fans really wanted to connect it to Dunsparce. Leading up to this point, many fans had begun wanting Dunsparce to get a new evolution that would turn it from a meme Pokemon into something even cooler or graceful. Most popular were depictions of a normal and dragon type evolution, and now here we had one that looked enough like Dunsparce for some people to really hope that that was the case. But especially in retrospect, yeah, these Pokemon look almost nothing alike. But for what it was, Drampa seemed pretty cool. Information from the Pokemon website as well as later Pokédex entries painted a picture of a kind old dragon that lived on the mountaintops and loved to play with and care for children. Potentially inspired by Chinese legends of a candle dragon, a being with the head of an old man and the body of a dragon, as well as just kind old grandpa vibes, Drampa was meant to be unlike what we had seen in the past. Though there had been other soft dragon Pokemon like Dragonite and Goodra, so I feel that there was already an idea of a cuddly dragon Pokemon. And maybe it's due to cultural differences here and there, but generally in the Western world they just don't like old people. Unless they're directly related to you being your blood-related pawpaw. This isn't to say that Drampa completely fails in design and concept. I think that the face is able to look like an old man while still being dragon-like, and all the fur does make it look soft and cuddly. The mostly green body also grounds it as more of a creature, and it's able to maintain the feeling of a kind and caring mythical being, which is the core feature. It feels a lot like an old dragon that was powerful but now is basically retired to living high up in the mountains. As we see with the other Pokédex entries, it can become very angry and violent if it discovers that one of the children that it has befriended is being bullied. Like, it will literally burn the bully's house to the ground. I can't decide if that's based or terrifying. That also kinda goes along with the weird stat distribution. It's older and maybe a bit frail, represented in the lower speed and not that much bulk. But if it needs to, Drampa can still pack a punch to defend the ones that it loves, as seen by that insane special attack stat. I love how this Pokemon gets a signature ability, that being Berserk. When the HP drops to below half the maximum, it gets a boost to that special attack. And of course I love how the Berserk version of his Pokemon is just part of the usual animation. Papa Dragon is angry.
This is Papa Dragon.
And even though all of that never really made it a force to be reckoned with in the video games, over in the trading card game it wasn't that bad of a Pokemon. With a GX move that allowed you to shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw 10 cards, it made a good complement to decks that used a non-GX attacker, or at least decks that didn't really need to use their GX move, allowing you to get a really good opening in the beginning of a game. Also, being a colorless Pokemon meant that it could be splashed into multiple strategies. But really it seems that Drampa made the most impact in the anime, which isn't saying that much because it only made one major appearance during that generation. Episode 59 of Pokémon Sun and Moon begins with our heroes enjoying a meal together. Lana tells everybody that her two sisters got lost in the forest and were rescued by a kind Pokémon. It turns out that Lana and Mallow know this Pokémon because they met it when they were younger and had just met, so it makes a cute little episode, spending half of the time telling the backstory between Lana and Mallow and how they really got to become friends, as well as how they met Drampa, or as they call him, Grandpa Forest. It watched over them while they were lost and then saved them from falling off a cliff. The other half of the episode has the two of them joined by Ash as they continue venturing into the forest to find their old friend. By the end of the episode, they reunite with Drampa, but Team Rocket shows up trying to claim the Pokemon for themselves. The scheme that they go with here is dressing up as children in an attempt to get Drampa to like them, which is just as cringy as it sounds, and rightfully so. I just love everybody's reactions here. They are not enthused, not even a little. When they give up and decide to just capture Grandpa Forest in a net, he doesn't need any help and breaks out of it with no effort, instantly attacking them and causing them to blast off, one of the easiest battles I've ever seen. And the episode ends with everyone having a nice time together eating berries. I think it's a fun idea, and it was great to get the backstory between Mallow and Lana, just some more development between the two as we see them together in other episodes of the anime, and hey, even in the trading card game. Having still not watched the entirety of the Sun and Moon series, I don't know a whole lot about everyone just yet, but I think it was a fun episode and does a good job at settling these two characters in along with their other appearances. Though when it comes to Drampa itself, that's just about it. Sure, it did show up in Pokemon Sword and Shield and has continued doing so in some other Pokemon media here and there, but not all that much that really stood out. I think that Sun and Moon are in an interesting place. It's new enough that the Pokemon from Generation 7 haven't had a lot of appearances, but it's not old enough to be retro and too nostalgic to the point that we're getting remakes or anniversary celebrations. And so the Pokemon that were single stage evolutions are just kinda treated as, oh yeah, I think I remember them. Unless they played a big part in the story, were used by an important character, had a lot of anime appearances, or had an otherwise massive push in the marketing. You could even see Drampa as a counterpart to Turtonator, both being version-exclusive Dragon Pokemon. But again, Turtonator was one of Kiawe's Pokemon who was a main character in the anime as well as a trial captain in the video game. I definitely don't think that this should have been an evolution to Dunsparce. I think it works pretty well on its own, but with how amazing some of the other Pokemon in Generation 7 are, it kinda gets overshadowed. Or maybe that is more in character for this Pokemon to quietly watch everyone else have fun while it enjoys the later years of its life. I would like to see Drampa continue showing up in the video games and anywhere else that it can, though personally I was never really a huge fan of it. Sure, I thought it was pretty cool when it first debuted, but not much more after that. Maybe that just means I should try and use it in some kind of playthrough team when I replay any of these games. So let me know what you think of Papa Dragon here and what you'd like to see from it going forward. Did you ever use one on your team and are you a fan of the design? Leave a comment down below. Anyway, you should head back up to the mountains and visit Papa. He made burgers for all his grandkids and I think I'm the only one who's gonna show up. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, including the great Gators, Pastel Blood, Cemetery Hill, Cosmo Zero, Mr. Saturn, Rainfrux, Cheez-It62, Alex Swiss, Shiny Hunter, Michael Snyder, Lockadox, Gator Kid 509, TF, Mathaclong 947, No Man Nobi, Taijirai, Justin R, Phantom, and Quago. If you would like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes for comments, live streams, and sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter as well for more memes. Anyway, this is GatorX, and I'll catch you all later.
You can discover the Island Guardians and the power of Pokémon GX in Pokémon trading card game Sun and Moon, Guardians Rising. In stores now.
Each booster pack of 10 cards sold separately. Cards vary by pack.